Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
So this weekend at the Barclay Centre, Deontay Wilder will defend his WBC Heavyweight World Title against his mandatory Dominic Breazeale. Now, yes, I know that Deontay Wilder is a paper champion. We know that Tyson Fury did beat him and the judges screwed Tyson Fury out of that title. 2 drop downs do not win you a fight or get you a draw. Tyson Fury schooled him. But regardless, the fact is he is WBC champion, and for Dominic Breazeale, mandatory, no, it should be Dillian Whyte, or Dillian Whyte versus Dominic Breazeale should have happened. Either way, no matter how we look at it, this is the situation, Wilder versus Breazeale. Now, Breazeale says that him defeating Deontay Wilder is going to humble Deontay Wilder so much that he will retire. And this is what Dominic Breazeale had to say. I think Wilder will find it humbling, and I think it ends his career. It will retire him. A guy like Wilder, the surrounding that he has, he's not used to being down in the dumps and being a depressed individual. I think it cripples him. It sends him into some type of a depression, and he never comes back to fight again. He talks the talk. He tries to get you flustered so he can get on his high horse and build up his own confidence. I'm the wrong guy for that. I played quarterback for way too long and looked across the line at some of the biggest, baddest guys on the planet. When Wilder talks, it's in one ear and out the other. I'm just going to smile in his face. Now, with that, hands down, without a doubt, a win for myself is a win for the world. Nobody no longer wants to see Deontay Wilder as WBC Heavyweight Champion. He's a disgrace not only for American boxing, but for heavyweight boxing in general. Dominic Breazeale's statement. Harsh, right? Very, very harsh. And we understand why. Because these guys have history. Wilder, his brother, Marcellus bring on the Gimp Wilder, they all ambushed Dominic Breazeale when Dominic Breazeale was with his wife and children, and a whole bunch of them started putting pot shots at Dominic Breazeale. So Dominic Breazeale wants revenge because, let's be real, he got embarrassed in front of his family by getting outnumbered. So he wants revenge for that one. So he doesn't like Wilder. Wilder don't like him, etc., etc. So it's definitely a grudge match, okay? And it does have that intrigue, it does have that interest. Wilder is going to be the favourite for this fight. Let's not hide behind it. Dominic Breazeale, historically, always fights very, very slow. He defends shots with his face. When you're fighting Wilder, who is pretty fast on his feet and is pretty fast-handed, his boxing technique is god-awful. But when he lands a big right hand, you're on the road to nowhere, okay? At some point, you're going to hit the canvas or you're going to get stopped on your feet. One of the two is going to happen. So stylistically, this fight should favour Deontay Wilder. Now, this is Wilder's, 42nd fight? Anthony Joshua for Dominic Breazeale in Joshua's 17th fight. He was his first defence of his IBF title as a voluntary. And here we are, 3 years later, Deontay Wilder is fighting Dominic Breazeale. So that kind of tells you the levels as to where they are at. But ultimately, Dominic Breazeale saying that Deontay Wilder will retire if he loses, I can agree with that one, especially if he gets knocked out. Because let's be honest, when we even cast our minds back to not only the Tyson Fury fight, but the Luis Ortiz fight as well, up until Luis Ortiz got stopped in round number 10, the judges had Wilder winning that fight. So they're very, very biased towards Wilder. The PBC, whether it be Showtime or the WBC, whatever it may be, whoever has any kind of influence over the judges seem to be having that effect in favour of Wilder. So going to points, Dominic Breazeale ain't going to beat him on points, even though he is a superior boxer to him, okay? So if it does go to points, expect one winner, and that would be Deontay Wilder. So Dominic Breazeale is going to have to knock him out, but he's also going to have to detach himself from the emotions of it. But he's going to have to fight angry and hit him with everything he's got and try and kick the gloves up, man. But Wilder is going to be the favourite, that's for sure. So if Dominic Breazeale does chin Wilder, I think a lot of people will be surprised. Bearing in mind that Joshua, as I said, that was his 17th fight as a voluntary, and he won every single round against Dominic Breazeale. And Anthony Joshua had glandular fever when he was in that fight. So he wasn't at his best anyway and still managed to dominate Breazeale and stop him in round number 7. So if Dominic Breazeale chins Wilder, first of all, that's going to be embarrassing for him. Second of all, I agree, he can't take losing. I've said this for a long time, that Wilder is very, very close to a loss. He's a loss waiting to happen because of his style. You can't always land that big punch. You can't always do it. And we've seen that with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury won that fight. Anybody who knows anything about boxing can watch that fight and know that Tyson Fury won. Just because you get dropped twice does not give you a win, and it does not get you a draw either if you don't win the rest of the damn rounds, or any of the other rounds. So Dominic Breazeale is going to have to chin Wilder. We've seen Wilder wobble on plenty of occasions. Tyson Fury wobbled Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury, not known as a big puncher. Eric Molina, not known as a big puncher, wobbled Wilder. Luis Ortiz had him out on his feet. Had the referee stopped that fight, nobody would have complained. So we've seen it happen. Arthur Spilka embarrassed him. Johan Duapa was embarrassing him. Ultimately, he does get the stoppage win. So he relies on that. At some point, this isn't going to happen. Okay, and Dominic Breazeale, if he was to knock out Wilder, will that be the end of him? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because he's lost all that money. In the sense of, he had this $100 million offer to fight Anthony Joshua and wasted it because he allowed his team to talk him out of it. Because he's not in control of his own career, I think that's pretty obvious, right? But if he turned down $100 million off his own back and his team wanted him to take the fight, then again, that shows that he's a coward. But Dominic Breazeale knocking out Wilder, yes, Wilder will retire. I've said it many, many times. When Wilder loses, especially if he gets knocked out, then he will retire, gone from the game, which will be good in many ways because his fan base, not all of them, okay, let's be clear, not all of them, he does have a lot of good fans, but some of them are extreme fans where they just come online to troll and to hate. That's what they do. Wilder loses, these guys are gone. Okay, they can go on down and ride the next hype train of an Errol Spence Jr., whatever it may be. Because it does seem that whatever these guys touch turns to crap. And at some point, Wilder is going to come undone. These guys will then move on to the welterweight division, where they've been laying dormant for quite some time anyway, and they only come back into the heavyweight boxing news because Anthony Joshua was there, just to be anti-Joshua. That's all they're doing, because they never supported Wilder beforehand. This is fact, okay? This is not opinion. Now, as far as Dominic Breazeale saying that Wilder is a disgrace as a WBC heavyweight champion, he's a disgrace on American boxing, he's a disgrace on boxing in general, and nobody wants to see him as WBC heavyweight champion of the world. Again, I can agree with that, because so many people don't. It's not because Wilder, maybe behind closed doors, isn't a likeable guy. He probably is. He's a family man, which is great, and nobody can knock him for that. But the fact is, some of the things that he says, how he wants to kill somebody in the ring. He wants to hit them so hard that they die in the ring. He wants a body on his record, is what he says. That is disgusting. Okay? Plenty of other scenarios as well. The trouble that he causes as well. He created this fan base of race baiters who hate anybody who's not black or American. And even some of them, they hate them and they call them coons and things like that, which is absolutely disgusting. He buys into all that. He is bad for boxing. So many people would love to see Wilder get laid out. And it's not necessarily a personality thing, because as I said, behind closed doors, he could be a real nice, humble guy. Okay, but some of the things that he says is just disgusting. He goes off on tangents. He says how he wants to be pregnant, and he just does all kinds of god-awful things and says hateful things about other fighters. He called the United Kingdom a country of racists. I mean, how terrible is that? He discredits legends of the past. He insults other fighters for not doing things when he doesn't do them himself. He says some very, very hateful, horrible things. So him getting knocked out and out of the sport is good. But it's bad in some ways because I've got nothing to talk about if he loses. What am I going to talk about? All right? You know, I mean, it's going to become pretty boring, let's be honest. But listen, if Dominic Breazeale can get that win, at least he will go fight Joshua. And he won't be allowed to be talked out of accepting a $100 million offer. Because let's be honest, if he defeats Wilder, he should be offered the $100 million that Wilder was. Because it's not like Wilder brings that value. No. He brings the WBC title. That's the only thing. Without the WBC title, Wilder would not be talked about like he wasn't beforehand. So Dominic Breazeale, you get that win. You do not rematch Wilder because you shouldn't be rematching him. It's a mandatory. You don't have to sign a rematch clause. You defeat Wilder, then you go fight Joshua or Dillian Whyte or Tyson Fury, whichever one that you want to do. Get that money. Get paid well, because I'm pretty sure you ain't getting paid well on this one. And somehow you allowed, let's be honest, you allowed Wilder to turn down this $100 million offer from DAZN, because Dominic Breazeale had a little bit of a say in this one, where he could have said, listen, you turning down $20 million to fight me on DAZN, which meant that I get a 30% cut of this one. That's $6 million that I could have got paid had this fight been on DAZN. How much am I getting paid now? So Dominic Breazeale could have made it go to purse bid, and Eddie Hearn would have won that purse bid, and Dominic Breazeale would have got paid. So now, Dominic Breazeale, you need to get that win, get that belt, and go fight a matchroom fighter or a Tyson Fury, whatever it may be. Go get that money. Don't be dictated to once you're champion. Can he win? Who knows? But is Deontay Wilder a disgrace in American boxing? Well, if you look back at the history of all the greats, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, etc., etc., he doesn't even come close to them. He will never, ever, ever be in the Hall of Fame. He's a flash in the pan right now. That's all he is. And he's only a flash in the pan because of the name of Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and Dillian Whyte. Outside of that, people just wouldn't talk about him. So he will never be a Hall of Famer. Well, actually, he may be, because the WBC like him, so they may put him in the WBC Hall of Fame. Maybe. But in reality, he's not a legend. He'll never be a legend because of the way that he carries himself outside the ring. It's absolutely terrible. I mean, what he done to Dominic Breazeale in front of his wife and children was disgusting. So, anyway, I'll put the article in the description box. Go give it a read for yourself. Do you think that if Dominic Breazeale was to defeat Deontay Wilder, and it is a big if, that Deontay Wilder will be gone? As we know before, which I did forget to mention about just there, that Wilder hates training. He says that he can't wait for the day to retire. Well, I think this weekend might be his last fight. If Dominic Breazeale lands that big punch and goes in there with a clean head and just decimates him, then Wilder will retire. But ultimately, Wilder is going to be the favourite in this one. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.